Young woman vanishes without a trace. No struggle, no witnesses, just a car abandoned on a desolate highway. Who was Maura Murray? What led her to this remote location in the dead of night? And what secrets lie buried beneath the snowdrifts? We will try to find all the answers to these questions. Let's get started. Frederick and Lori welcomed Maura into the world on May 4, 1982, in Hanson, Massachusetts, with a younger half-brother named Kurt, two elder sisters, Julie and Kathleen, and a brother named Fred. She is the fourth child. Maura was raised in a conventional Catholic home until her parents separated when she was 6 years old, at which point she mostly lived with her mother. At Whitman-Hanson Regional High School, where Maura completed her high school education, she excelled academically and was a standout track athlete. After receiving an acceptance letter, she spent 3 semesters studying chemical engineering at the United States Military Academy in West Point, New York. She started going to UMass and shifted her focus to nursing. The day Maura vanished, snow forced the institution to cancel classes. She is thought to have departed Amherst between 4 and 5 p.m., most likely by traveling north on Interstate 91. There was no evidence that she had chosen a location, and she hadn't disclosed her goal to anyone. A person reported an automobile crash to the Haverhill Police Department via 911 call, which was made around 3 hours after she departed Massachusetts. A loud noise was reported by a woman outside the home of Woodsville, New Hampshire. She observed that an automobile on Route 112, popularly known as Wild Ammonoosuc Road, had missed the hairpin turn and collided with the snowbank. Pointed west, the car was parked on the eastbound side of the street. At 7:27 p.m., the woman reported the sharp corner next to her house to the Grafton County Sheriff's Department. The woman claimed to have seen a man smoking a cigarette inside the automobile, but it turned out to be a red light blazing inside, possibly from a cell phone. Another witness, a local school bus driver, pulled up to the vehicle. He was able to see the car and the young lady who was approaching it. The woman seemed chilly and shaky, but the bus driver reported to the police that he did not observe any visible injuries or that she was bleeding. She begged him not to call the police, but he denied his offer to call for assistance. She'd already contacted AAA, she told him. The bus driver headed home at 7:43 p.m., worried that there was no phone coverage in the region, and he called the police. When a neighbor dropped by the scene at 7:37 p.m. on her way home from work, she claimed to have seen a police SUV parked directly in front of Maura's vehicle. She drove home after seeing no one at the scene, either inside or outside the cars. The woman gave a chronology, but according to police records, the Haverhill Police Department arrived 9 minutes later. The official log states that the cops came at 7:46 p.m. The motorist had left the area, and the officer had not seen anyone. The car was rendered inoperable after striking a tree on the driver's side, which also damaged the left headlight and forced the radiator into the fan. The car was locked, the airbags had popped, and the front windshield was cracked. The officer noticed red streaks both inside and outside the automobile that appeared to be spilled red wine. He discovered the box of wine that Maura had bought and an empty beer bottle in the back seat. Her AAA card, CDs, diamond jewelry, makeup were among the items he discovered. Along with her phone, Maura's debit and credit cards were gone. Additionally, a few of the booze bottles were absent. Maura was first reported missing by the police, who handled the case as though there was no proof of her kidnapping or foul play, and that she might have chosen to go missing on her own as a result of planning and preparation for her trip. A contractor reported seeing a young individual walking quickly on foot, traveling east on Route 112, approximately 5 miles from where police discovered Maura's car, between 8 and 8:30 p.m. He claimed that the individual was dressed in trousers, a lighter hoodie, and a dark coat. He didn't think it was extremely suspicious, so he didn't report it to the police immediately. He saw the individual the same night Maura crashed her car and disappeared. He realized this 3 months later while reviewing his work logs. The automobile was discovered abandoned on February 10th, and the police informed Fred by voicemail on his home phone and issued a bold alert for Maura. Fred never got that call because he was working out of state. Maura's elder sister called her father at 5 o'clock in the evening to let him know what was going on. When he called the Haverhill police right away, they informed him that if Maura was not discovered by the next morning, the New Hampshire Fish and Game Department would start searching. On February 11th, Maura's father arrived in Haverhill prior to daybreak. The Murrays and investigators from Fish and Game were searching the woods for her by 8 in the morning. A dog detected a scent that led it 100 yards away from the car before losing it. This made the investigators think that Maura might have been picked up by a different vehicle. Maura's boyfriend and his parents arrived in Haverhill late in the day. He was questioned by investigators. During the flight there, he had turned off his phone and answered a call from someone he thought was Maura, who was crying. Fred and Maura's boyfriend held a press conference in Bethlehem, New Hampshire on February 12th. The story was picked up by CNN and other national news organizations. Authorities declared that they believed Maura to be endangered and maybe suicidal, and that she might be headed to the Kancamagus Highway region. 10 days after Maura vanished, the Federal Bureau of Investigation joined the search, and the Haverhill police chief declared that the case had now spread throughout the country. It would mark the start of the family's decades-long public relations quest to locate Maura. Subsequently, Fish and Game carried out an additional aerial and ground search, including cadaver dogs, search dogs, and a helicopter fitted with a thermal imaging camera. Nothing turned up throughout the search. Police gave Maura's worn-out family the stuff from her car at the end of February, after they had been staying at a motel and looking for her every day. But Fred kept going back to Haverhill virtually every weekend in a desperate attempt to find his daughter, which finally resulted in complaints about him intruding on private land. He would look behind scrap lumber, in trash cans, and any other place you could hide a body. Maura's family has never given up trying to locate her. In 2004, Fred advocated for his daughter and other missing people by appearing on national news and television shows like Montel Williams and carrying out his diligent research.